Hey, Natasha.
Hey Claire, how's it going?
It's good. I feel like this podcast episode might need a content warning to start with. So,
I'm
yeah,
scared.
I think the CPMs might be way up on this episode.
That's all we're gonna tell them.
The chickens per minute is what I was going for with that one.
Okay. Just you know what it's called wait time. When you don't understand, you just wait and then
Until I
we'll
feel awkward.
explain.
Except you forget that I am also an educator and I'm okay with the silence.
True. We learn to just enjoy that awkward moment.
So I will
Yeah.
wait until somebody raises their hand to answer. Yep. We have a whole episode on that. So see the show notes for that episode on waiting.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, do you know what we're talking about today? Because I am so excited.
Um, yes. Do you want me to start the conversation on how this all came about?
Maybe, but I feel like our stories might collide in the middle. So
Okay.
uh, yeah, or maybe set the stage on
Okay.
how this came about. What
All
happened?
right. Yeah. So my husband's a professor in at Texas A&M, and he recently his proposal to do a research experiment in space was accepted and approved, and that's going to happen. I think next year they're going to send this experiment that he proposed to the International Space Station, and I was like, Claire, look, this is so cool. So I texted you about it, and I gave you the topic, and you were really excited about the specific topic, which I don't even know what it's about. Like, I will just give you the title: Cheetozan in Space, Assessing Biopolymer Durability Under Vacuum and Radiation.
Mhm. And to clarify, that has nothing to do with, like, the Cheetos that you eat. I've clarified that before we went live. Yeah.
That is correct. And it's basically something that is about insect derived biopolymers. And so I gave you like the synopsis, and then you got really excited about the insect that was involved and that you had your own, I don't know what experiment going on that was related.
Yeah. So when you texted me, I was thinking, "No way." I have been focused on pretty much the same thing of not sending something to space, but doing it in my own home, actually backyard, and thinking about how to mass produce what I am working on for children in schools. So I am super excited about this. And as we were about to jump on and both decided we needed more coffee and a bathroom break, and in that time that I was waiting for you to jump back on, I created a PowerPoint presentation for you. So welcome to my TED Talk. Are you ready?
I'm so excited.
I can tell. Uh, so
I'll
what
drink
we
my
were talking
coffee.
about, yeah, drink your coffee while I talk. And if you're listening to this, we'll have this video on YouTube, so you don't feel like you're going to miss out on these graphics. Natasha can maybe explain them. Are you eating right now, Natasha? Just make sure you're not eating.
I'm not. I won't. Okay. I'm scared.
Okay, yeah, good. Good. Don't be afraid. But I did text you one picture as a teaser, and you were like, "That's gross." So
It's Mhm.
okay, so I created slides because I wanted to tell a story, and I have pictures to go with my story.
Can't
So
wait.
this is just the cover page. So if you're listening to this, what's my cover page?
It's your chickens, 4 of
It's
them.
not it's my chickens. But we're talking about a bug today because this project that your husband is going to be sending into space has to do with this bug that I've been working with in my backyard, and it's the black soldier fly. So hang tight with us, listener, because this will come back to education. I think it is just way cool. Something that I've been taking for granted and didn't know existed until recently. And it was, I guess, at the same time that this this grant or this project was being awarded to Justin. So I just think it's such cool timing too. So backstory, I have a garden and we've had a couple freezes lately. And so my garden is not looking too great. It's the end of the season. I didn't plant anything to do a fall garden or winter garden. I'm just kind of letting things die. But I had melons growing over this big trellis that you can walk under. And because of the freeze, all of the vines died, but I had a couple of watermelons that were still growing. They're about palm size. And they are going to stop growing and they're no longer good. They're not quite ripe all the way because they didn't make it. So anyway, I have a picture here of one melon that I took off the vine. And what's great about this is I have two options of what I can do with it. And one of those is put it in my compost because I started composting this year. But I have chickens now. So chickens love melons. So I have another picture here of what I did with it, which is I gave it to my chickens, which they love when I bring them food straight from the garden. So we have a true garden to table experience in my
Love it.
backyard right now. So here's a picture of my chickens enjoying this watermelon. So I did this, and this is something I've done over the last month or so, is taking stuff from the garden. And then I take the rind that is left over that the chickens don't eat, and I put it into my compost. Now, this is where I didn't want you to eat, because this is a picture of my compost that has chicken eggshells and the leftover part of the watermelon. And after a couple days, I'd forgotten to rotate my compost. And so when I open it, I could see all the food that I had recently put in there. And covering the food are these larvae, which I won't say the M word that I thought they were originally, and maybe that's the technical term, I'm not sure. But when I saw them, I actually got really excited because I'd never noticed this before, even though I've been composting for about a year. I hadn't really looked at it closely. But what you see in there are these bugs covering everything, and that's what's breaking down the food. You see this?
It's
Yeah.
appetizing.
Mhm.
If you're listening, it's quite disgusting. So
Yeah. You can Google it. Yeah. Uh, and what I got excited about is they look exactly like the treats that I give to my chickens. So this is a picture of the treats that I get for my chickens. They're kind of expensive, come in a bag. They're just the casings of these black soldier fly larvae. And there's a picture of my 3-year-old feeding them to my chickens, and they
Mhm.
just go crazy over these. So when I saw them in my compost, I was like, no way. I can grow these. I don't have to go buy a big bag and it's really expensive. And I thought, well, do I have to dry them out and give them as treats? And I was like, well,
Who
I bet
thinks
they could
this?
just
Who is like, "You know what? Let me grow this myself and dry them out."
so I
Continue.
realized that I have this problem, which is why I have so many projects that are in process all over my house, is I have an issue with thinking, "I bet I could do that."
Yeah,
It's
but this is a little
DIY
extreme, Claire.
assignment. Is it though? Because 'Cause I'm really excited about it. This is really
Continue.
cool. So, giving these treats to my chickens, I'm thinking these things are actually growing in my compost, and I put in 0 effort to get them. Like, can I just give them to my chickens? So I scooped some out, like just the larvae, and gave them to the chickens, and they gobbled them up and thought it was like the best thing ever. And I thought, I'm onto something here because I also, when I clean my coop and I clean up all the poo and stuff, I put that also into the compost. So I'm like, I've got like this full circle of life happening in my backyard. And so what I did is I looked it up. And of course, to learn anything now, you can either go to YouTube or podcasts. I prefer podcasts. And hopefully, listener, you do too. And that's why you're here. But I found the Urban Farm podcast that talked about it had a special on there and talked about the black soldier fly and like harvesting them and their benefits. Cause I was like, are these things like a pest? Should I be concerned? Because when I first went to a compost website, was like, is this my compost is supposed to be doing? or do I have a problem? And there's all these people that were like, oh, that means you need to add more dry stuff. Your compost is too wet. You don't want too many of these things. And I'm like, what if I want more of these things? And so then I was like, I think I need to be talking to some different people. I need some bug people. And so I found the Urban Podcast, and had this special guest, which is Dr. Jeffrey Tomberlin, who is an entomology professor at TNM, and his area of expertise is on the black soldier fly. And he travels all over giving talks about them. I think he's done a TED talk about them. He does workshops to help people be able to farm these black soldier fly larvae, which I'm going to work on getting him out to where I am to do a workshop because I want to learn. Anyway, and so when you sent me your husband's proposal for his project and what got accepted, it has his name on it. And I was like, no way, this is the guy that I've
Oh, I
been
didn't even
listening
make the
to.
connection. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right.
So I guess they're working together because this is at A&M and he's the leading expert in it. So anyway, I thought that was really cool. And what's
Well, now I have a
amazing about
connection for you then to help bring him to your town. So
I
we'll
know,
send the
and I'm like,
podcast.
it would be amazing to be able to make that connection. And how can I or how can we get students involved in the project, understanding or following the project that Justin's doing would be really cool. Because the cool thing about the black soldier fly, or one of the things, is their life cycle. It's less than a month. So if you wanted to do a project where you're farming these for several purposes, because they are super foods for chickens and livestock, these larvae, you can dry them out and give them as treats, or you can just give them the larvae, which are super high in protein and calcium and really good fats, which is super good for chickens too, because chickens need high calcium for good eggs and hard eggshells. So this is the best food you can give a chicken, is a black soldier fly. They're also amazing at decomposing food waste and makes really good fertilizer. And it does this in a really quick time because they get to this larvae stage in 13 to 18 days. So it's a great project for students to get involved in because it's a quick reward. They get to see this progress of laying the eggs. They may not see the eggs, but then they get to see the larvae pretty fast if they're putting food in a compost. So it's this amazing ecosystem that I have going on in my backyard, where I have my compost where these black soldier flies are laying eggs and then producing these larvae that I can then scoop out and give to my chickens. It's also breaking down all the food in my compost super fast and making amazing soil for my garden that's then producing the food and the vegetables that I can eat in my house and then give to my chickens. And then they produce poop that I then put back in the compost. So it's like this life cycle. And I told my husband about this, and I was like, I am so excited about this bug that's growing in our garden. And he's like, okay, so are we going to be swarmed by flies? What is the cons here? And these are not pests. I had never even noticed a black soldier fly ever before in my life. And I still have never seen one. They're not pests. There's really no cons, just all these benefits. And husband, who's kind of a skeptic, wants to make sure I've thought all the way through before I dive deep into a project, which is too late by the time he's there, uh, but he couldn't find anything. Googling all the things about, well, what are the negatives of having black soldier flies around? And there's nothing. They're just amazing creatures. So with that, this project that's going into space on the International Space Station, I'm assuming they're not bringing chickens to the space station, which is unfortunate, but what are they doing with them? Do you
Should I
know?
just read?
Yeah, read it.
Well, it sounds like we need to bring Dr. Tomberlin to the podcast to
Mhm.
explain it himself, because it's not bringing chickens, but I know that is part of the vision here that you said. And so everything you're saying is exactly kind of why they think this is such an incredible experiment for long-term space travel. And they had a kickoff for this meeting yesterday. And so Justin, my husband, kind of presented it as thinking about The Martian, right? And you had Matt Damon as the character, and like sending him with chickens and these insects is kind of all you need to have some incredible resources for food and building materials to survive in a remote environment. And so I would love to talk to this other professor, because he seems to be the expert on all these things. Because Justin's piece is on the material science aspect of it, and he is not the expert on the life cycle and all the fun bug stuff that I'm just like gross, but so cool at the same time. I'm very intrigued.
Well, that's the thing. There was a graphic that you sent me about it. It involved the black soldier fly and all the benefits, and it was utilizing it in a greenhouse to create the fertilizer and feeding the livestock that they would have. I think this was this on Mars or the moon? I can't remember what the
It was
project
Mars.
was focused on. Mars, okay. And which is great, yeah, like, I think that's a great analogy to use it like the Martian. Instead of potatoes, you would have the black soldier fly. It's producing all these amazing things, the protein. It actually would be really good food for people, although you'd have to get over the fact that you're eating bugs. I'm sure you could process it into, like, a protein bar, I don't know. I'm not gonna try that at home. I'll
Okay,
just
well, I
just
wouldn't be
say that.
surprised.
I'm not gonna that's where I draw the line. But they are amazing, but what I didn't think about, which I thought was really cool in this graphic that I saw, was using it for building materials, and, I would be really interested to see what that means and how that works. Because I know there is some sort of byproduct called, frass, which is the nutrient-rich fertilizer that is produced by the black soldier fly larvae as it's breaking down things, but I don't know much about that yet. I haven't researched that part, but I guess you could use it as a building material. I don't know how many black soldier flies you would need to do that, but, anyway, really
Yeah, so
cool, and I
the
think
building material piece of it is what he was saying is it's like
mhm.
a glue-like material, and so you can use, like,
Oh,
Martian rocks, and then this is, like, the binder for that to build a structure.
that's amazing. I don't know if I can replicate that in my backyard, but I'll try.
I challenge you. So what if,
Well,
like,
right
next
now
year I was gonna say next year when this gets sent to space, you have your version on Earth and compare that to what's happening on the ISS, so
that would be amazing, and that's what I think the usefulness of doing this exercise is that we can get students involved. Teacher listening to this, just look up black soldier fly farming, and I think it would be a really easy, fun project to do with students to get kids to understand ecosystem and sustainable living, how you can compost with these guys, make fertilizer, grow a garden, you could feed livestock. There's so many possibilities and learning about biology, all sorts of things with the black soldier fly, and not any downsides that I can see. So, pretty cool, besides it being a little bit gross, but I'm
that's
I'm digging them right now, no pun intended.
and I think we need to go back and update our Moon and Mars planning games, as a potential resource for their habitats on long-term survival, because I love it. And we could feature some of these faculty that are behind this idea, as part of that. But we absolutely need to get one of them on the
Mhm.
podcast.
Yeah, maybe one that might end up listening to this soon would be
Yeah,
great to have a professor maybe in mechanical engineering at Texas
I
A&M
know.
would be
I don't
awesome,
know. I know a
if you
few.
know anybody.
Yeah.
Just well, thanks for listening to my TED Talk on the black soldier fly, and, yeah, next time, tune in. We'll get a professional or somebody who's actually an expert to come in and talk about these things and implications of using them in the classroom and in space. But for now, STEM space out.